Yeah, we're live. That's you.
Gentlemen, hey, we did it again.
What?
And I couldn't be more proud.
We found a new crazy spot to broadcast from.
Well, it's related to that. I couldn't be more proud. I was going to say of us, but really, let's be honest, I kind of made this all come to, fruition. Not that you guys aren't supportive, but I have used the podcast as a vehicle to get us into another picturesque setting where we get to drink delicious beer. And I think that's a huge accomplishment that should be celebrated.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, it gives me some legitimacy when I tell my wife I have to be somewhere.
So that's exactly where I was going.
Brings me back to my old stomping grounds. I was a Drexel University attendee.
Yeah.
And
as long as this thunderstorm doesn't break out, we are in good shape. But listen, that's exactly what I was going to say, because think about it. Saying to my wife, yep, we got to do the podcast. I lined it up with my buddy Jake at Human Robot. We're going to go to his brewery. Got all the guys coming. We got the production team. It's a big deal, She's like, okay. She doesn't love it. But if I said to her, I'm going to go to the bar and hang out with a couple buddies and have beers, I got no chance. Yeah. So I don't know how long.
So all these wires are just an elaborate setup.
Yeah, it's not even real.
So we can hang out.
It's not even real. She wouldn't know the difference. Look, I don't know how long I can sustain this, but I'm telling you guys this. I'm going to run this thing out for as long as it can go, and that's my promise to you, all right? I mean that. Do you appreciate it?
I think Fink does. What do you say, Fink?
It's good.
He's like Stevie Wonder. He's playing his little keyboard.
And by the way, now that we just went live, our gracious host has entered the picture.
I'm good.
This is Jake Atkinson.
Yeah.
He is one of the owners of
JT can have
the
mine.
Human Robot Brewery.
Excellent.
Jake, the camera's over there, bud. So, you just want to kind of smile.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're live. So Jake
We're coming
Atkinson.
at you live.
Now, real quick, guys. These are the Human Robot milk tubes. And here's the thing. He came on to do one with us because you got to drink them right away, or else they end up going away because they're mostly foam, whatever. You just got to chug it. So here we go. Here we go. Salute. Thank you, guys.
Salute, gentlemen.
It's that Kyoto cold brew. I can't pound that.
Yeah. So, I almost got through the whole thing there, Jake.
I'll be up for 5 days if I drank that.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Now, we're going to have Jake on later, and obviously shout out to him for allowing us to be here. He basically opened this place up to us, which is ridiculous, but we appreciate it. And great setting. And Human Robot, they've got a location down in Fishtown, which is amazing, and they just opened up this tasting room here on the Schuylkill Banks. It's amazing. We thought this was going to be one of the most beautiful evenings. Now we might be dodging a thunderstorm.
It's pretty easy to public transportation to get to,
You can absolutely.
30 streets right there.
I didn't know.
That's 30
Street
Street.
Station. Okay.
Well,
so
behind us is the old mail, the old post office, and then
That's
30th
right.
Street is across from
That's
there.
right. So,
wow.
You get envelopes
Center,
delivered there,
all
Mike?
the way back. Huh?
You got envelopes delivered there?
I got a few envelopes. I used to have a P.O. box there.
And we got to mention, obviously, something a little different. You're looking at us. You're wondering what's going on. Rocky's not here. I think he's doing like an anniversary trip with his wife. More power to him.
Shout out, Rock.
He's only a year in. Guys like me, we're
Shout out
15
Lindsay,
deep. Meech, how deep are you into the game?
I'm pretty deep.
Pretty deep. I'd rather not say.
No, I've been in the game since '96, but married since 2007.
Beautiful.
And I'm sure if Rock was watching this from his vacation, he would consider this waff right here. The
Yes.
four of us up here.
This is so waff. If you watched the pod before,
Sorry,
this
Rock.
is a very waff situation.
Sorry,
and we only
Rock.
made it more.
We need you back here, man, just to bring some kind of flavor into this.
We're not doing
We
so
look
great.
kind of corny up here, just four pasty white guys.
What made it even pastier,
right.
though?
We got hair, though.
Wait, what made it even pastier is we brought our boy Tom Henneman in here, who I really regret bringing him in.
That's not a nice intro.
That's a nice.
Really,
Look at him,
I
made this
regret bringing
even
this man in.
pastier.
But look at him. I'm actually regretting bringing him on because he's got like this wavy hair. The beard is relatively tamed. He's got
Looking
these
sharp,
smooth
Tom.
I had to get it
glasses.
trimmed. It's getting
Damn.
wild.
He looks good. Really.
getting
Us
Wow.
guys next to you, it's not such a good thing. So, guys, we did have a.
It's not a beauty contest up here,
Well,
please.
that's for sure. If it was,
for
we'd be in
yourself.
big trouble. So,
I'm hoping you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music instead of
Yeah.
watching my ugly ass.
that's the preferred method, folks, okay? No, but we did have a momentous occasion recently, right? The podcast
Celebrated 1
turned
year.
1, okay? And that's a big deal. I didn't know if we'd be able to do it for a whole year, and we just kind of kept going. And again, getting to spots like this and being able to, build relationships and drink people's beer has helped. And so if you guys haven't checked this out, I just wanted to plug one thing. We did make a
Rod
trailer.
just checked in real quick.
Rock checked in?
Checked in the chat and said, looking real waffy.
He said we're looking real wacky.
See,
So
I
Rocky's
told
in
you.
the chat.
Yeah.
I love that. Last week we had Fink in the chat. Now we got Rock in the chat. Appreciate you guys checking in.
If
when
any
you're not with
minority
us.
is walking by 34th Street, just feel free to stop on by just to flavor up this panel here.
That's right, absolutely. So I just wanted to give a shout out to my my own video. So we created a video. It's a 1 year like recap of like highlights. You can check it out on our YouTube page. It's the 2023 or 2023 recap sizzle. It's great. It has all the guests and stuff. It has Meech and Fink, and it's a really good video. Check it out. And by the way, if you've been listening or watching the podcast and you haven't, we're not the greatest self-promoters. I think that's evident at this point. But if you can, like our YouTube channel and subscribe and maybe leave a, what do they call it, the review when you're on Apple or Spotify. We could use more of those. So if you listen a lot and you haven't done that, throw us a bone, and maybe we can do that. And that helps us, by the way, here's the natural segue. That helps us to secure our local partnerships with the businesses and the individuals that we know and love, like Mark Goodhart and the Goodhart Law Firm. Mark Goodhart and the Goodhart Law Firm.
Love always wins.
Love always
You're
wins,
on-
baby.
He's
Love
on sponsor
always
level platinum, which is wear the t-shirt. You the man. Okay, so we got Mark Goodhart, and then we got the fans of Philly, who we're going to get into a little later, who are rolling out all of your Eagles trips, like bananas Eagles trips that we've been talking about.
I just seen they're scheduling the London Phillies trip.
London Phillies trip.
Ooh.
Good day, mate. Maybe we should head over there.
That's
was
not- that's
not the
intentional.
Australian.
It was intentional. That was
What
bad. That was a
was-
bad joke.
yeah.
That was a bad
Damn.
joke. But anyway, look, fans of Philly, we thank you for your support. An awesome local company, and we love to support our local companies. And on that note, we have a new sponsor, guys, that's amazing, and another relationship that was born from the podcast and the people involved. Our buddy Tom Henneman helped kind of get these guys into the fold. I'm going to hand it over to him to talk a little bit about our new partners.
Thank you, Jesse. One of the things that we love to do here is create community here with the pigeons. We bring all our other birds and bring them into the flock.
That's right.
And
Birds
our
of a feather tailgate.
Birds of a feather, yeah.
Yeah,
and
baby.
our buddy Alex Epstein and his company A-Best Swag have come on board as our most recent sponsor. You can get a little sample
Look
of
at
what they
that.
do here.
Ooh.
Any of your custom
That's
swag,
nice, man. That's not even
promotional
like
items,
embroidered.
fulfillment.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
They'll create the web stores, employee stores.
Tom is wearing a beautiful A-Best Swag sweatshirt if you're listening online.
these
He looks
raised-
great.
It's getting a little
Raised-
chillier. I could use
it
one
is.
myself.
Yeah, I thought you were going to be
Tom,
hot,
I
but
mean,
now I
you
wish I
clowning
had
me
one.
Earlier, you were clowning
Can
me
I
earlier.
have
Now,
that
who's
sweatshirt?
going to
You
be
cannot
laughing?
have it. If you
I don't-
trade him for
gotta
the City
ask-
Pigeons shirt.
You have to ask
You have to ask Ep.
You got to say I
Ep's
want
the
that
man.
one.
So what do they do at A-Best Swag, Tom? Let the good
Yeah,
people know.
Any of your custom swag, promotional items, bags, hats, keychains, any of that stuff. Employee swag bags.
And by the way, let me just say, I was on the website yesterday looking around, and I thought they did T-shirts. They'll put a logo on anything, and we need to explore this. And by the way, we are going to work with A-Best Swag to create a web store for people to buy City Pigeons merchandise like Fink's wearing, which up to this point have been kind of indie underground items.
Shout out Die Hard.
Shout out Die Hard. But we're gonna produce some stuff, and we might put our logo on body wash. I don't know. Meech, do you have any good ideas
Can
on
you
that
put
front?
your logo on me?
Yeah.
Not offhand.
Maybe we can
but
put it on your pillow
I'm
so
sure
you
we
see
could-
it when you take your naps. Is that a good idea?
That's not a good idea.
That's not a good idea. Anyway,
City
A-Best
Pigeons
Swag,
pillows.
please check them out on Instagram at A-Best Swag. Tell them the pigeons sent you. Ep, we love you. Welcome aboard.
yeah, by the way, we need a code. That's the next level. We got to get a code, Pigeons
Like a
1 or
20%
something.
off code.
Yeah, that's when you know that you are
They
official.
were worried about their ability to handle the orders.
Yeah,
if
they would
we
come
gone
in
out
as a
there on the
result of
first
this.
night.
We knew it would be crazy.
Gone out heavy with the code,
So on the note,
baby
you gotta be
steps.
careful.
Baby steps.
guys, to celebrate the 1 year birthday, anniversary, whatever you want to call it, of the City Pigeons podcast, I thought it would be fun for everybody to go back and talk about what they thought was kind of like something that stuck out to them, their favorite moment during the time we're doing the podcast. I know there's been a lot of wild times. It's been a lot of good times, honestly. One of my favorite things about the whole thing has been hanging out with you guys and building friendships. I remember Meech, we went to a Sixers game with Fink before, I don't even know if we had a podcast at that time.
No, that was.
And since then, now he's my brother, from another mother. Love this
Aw.
guy. And that's the fun part about this as the helicopters fly overhead. That's what you get to do, man. You get to hang out and do stuff, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's actually pretty damn tough, but you make it through. I'll say this. When I was thinking about it, my favorite moment, hands down, was the Ray Dinger intro. If you were listening or watching the City Pigeons podcast and you are a Philadelphia sports fan and you have not seen the beginning of the "Oh crap, it's Ray Diddy" episode, it's probably our finest piece of work.
It is pretty fun.
And I will say this, Meech, it was a tag team effort. You were the brains. So
Meech's idea.
Yeah, it was Meech's idea. Can you speak a little bit to the idea, and then I'll talk about the execution a little? Would that be good?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking of some way to put, like, Ray Diddy is obviously one of those guys who's known to be without technology at all. He's not into cell phones.
Tell him how bad.
He's not into iPads. He's not into
so
computers.
Ray Dinger does not have a cell phone.
No.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Ray Dinger is probably the most well-respected sports figure, journalist, media in all of Philadelphia.
It goes without saying.
Right. He's a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You know who he is. But he has never embraced technology. He uses the yellow pad. So we all had our yellow pads. But go ahead, Meech.
So I had an idea, which was to pretend like he's conducting some sort of high-tech NFT ring, and right. he gets scammed, and just something so absurd that would obviously not be in his
but the idea was that he secretly actually used technology, but he pretended that he didn't.
So but 10 minutes before the show started,
but wait,
you were
so Meech gave me this idea, and I said, it's gold, Jerry, right? But I just don't know. I asked him to do the show, he agreed right away, we scheduled it, and I was like, because these people don't really know what they're walking into, like what kind of show it is. We don't have a long enough track record to where they could watch 10 episodes and I'm quite sure that Ray Dinger walked in the door to do the podcast without ever watching it. Just based on the fact that I asked him to do it, which is amazing. He's an awesome, awesome guy. But I said to me, look, I don't know that I can ask him to do this. He's going to walk in, how much time we have. But it was so good, and Meech was like, we got to do it. He had a script. He had a freaking script. So Ray Dinger walks in the door at the place that we're doing it, and I said to him, we talk a little and hang for a minute, and I said to him, hey, we have this idea for how we want to start the show, and he's kind of looking at me like, okay, and next thing you know, he sits down. Meech we put the script on a laptop, which obviously he's not using at all.
I wrote it down on a giant, in large font on a piece of paper.
We put it on the computer screen, lay it on the computer, not on the actual computer. We give him a phone,
which he held upside down.
The best part is he holds the phone upside down. But anyway, we just roll, and it wasn't live, but
he got it right away.
Either way, he did it
Nailed it.
An actor. And if you haven't seen it, he's talking about moving money from his bank accounts, NFTs.
Now, I remember the conversation I had. Now, this is a conversation I'm having with Ray Dinger. I was like, listen, Ray, I want you to play this like Adam West when he's having a conversation with Commissioner Gordon, how he plays it so deadpan and straight. And he's like, okay, I can relate to that.
He nailed it. Yeah, you went to him. You talked to him. You spoke to him. There you go.
And he's like, I can understand that.
You know how to get there.
He's done some acting in some of his Tommy and Me and all this stuff.
That's what I was saying. He understands the...
He just jumped right into it. Remember, we walk in, he's like, "Oh, hey, fellas," and starts putting it all away.
And he got it perfect on the first take.
Nailed it.
Oh, the inflections, like Jesse said, if you haven't seen it, I don't mean to brag or anything, but it's pretty damn funny, and it's worth checking out.
I will tell you this: there's been a few moments during the podcast where I felt like this makes it all worthwhile, and that was one of them. Where I was like, we got this legendary guy to do something that's so out of character and so funny. It felt amazing to do that.
Yeah, that was by far, no matter what happens with this podcast, that was a cool-ass moment.
It wasn't standing in the rain for hours on a Sunday in the cold.
What, for the tailgate?
For the tailgate?
No. Actually, that's another good story while we're at it. We had a tailgate, and it was pouring rain. What game was that? That wasn't the Dallas game.
Green Bay?
I think it was Green Bay. That's right, Green Bay. Anyway, Tom and I were getting down to the parking lot at 10 in the morning for half these games or whatever time it was, and we had to decide if we're going to do it. And we all huddled under a tent. We made it happen. But that's what it's really been all about, right? It's just making it happen, just going, having a good time, rolling with it.
Yeah.
Do you guys think anything that sticks out to you, buddy? Don't say it's good.
It's good.
It's good. It was good.
It's good.
It was good.
I've been having some fun over this.
I mean,
that
Fink,
one
I gotta be
episode
honest,
with
There we go.
Devin Caney. I like that.
yeah.
What up, DK? That was a good fun episode. I enjoyed
That was. Can I ask you a question?
one.
At the time of that episode, what was your relation status with Devin Caney? Do you think that
So
helped?
I also had fun at the Christmas party. That
Oh,
was a
see,
good one.
you're gonna
too.
move
That was
away
fun-
from
that
it.
was
That
a
was
fun
fun.
time too.
Okay, fair enough.
Jamie Lynch was there. That's my guy.
Jamie's the man.
Arcane episode was a real good one. He was fun.
The silent protest against winter was your finest moment.
That was great. Yes.
down.
Yes. If you haven't seen Fink's silent protest against winter, where he dressed up like Hunter S. Thompson, Fink's been a good sport throughout the whole thing. The Fink tank tonight, you're not really the Fink tank. You're part of this, which is not ideal, but it's fine.
Wait till you see how pale my legs look on this.
You're
video.
pale. You're pale. Your legs are pale, man. There's no doubt about it. But that's okay. We got the summer ahead of us.
But aside from that, I think the coolest part for me was when I was gifted World Series tickets a few days before the game. That was pretty fucking.
I forget who did that.
Yeah, I think it was Rock. Maybe gave me. No, it was you, Jesse. Thanks, man.
Yeah. And then you adopted that child that you put on your shoulders.
That's right.
Man, there's been so many
The
good
wholesome
times.
moment of the year.
There's really been so many good times. No, but I appreciate you guys. It's been fun. Like I said, we're going to run this thing into the ground. I don't know. I don't know when my family will intervene or anybody and say, you got to stop doing this. But for now,
Let's get back
Thank you
into
to the
Philly
Lions.
sports
Sorry,
right
thank you to the
real
Lions
quick.
as
Let's
well
do
before
it.
we're
Enough
there.
about us, which probably, it was nice for us to reminisce, but nobody gives a fuck. I mean,
Well-
let's get into Philly sports.
all right. Okay,
Do we have to?
getting it back to Philly sports. Yeah, do we have to? I was like this close to a major meltdown freak out moment because we had a couple people that we knew that were at the Phillies game today where they almost lost their third game in the row to the Diamondbacks, to go, what was it, like lose 8 of their last 11 or
Yeah, it wouldn't have been
something.
good.
Anyway, I was ready to start this like, we had the Sixers, now we got the Phillies, this is the end of the world. And it's funny because you were at the game, and I actually posted something saying Meech is going to be so mad tonight, and then they ended up winning the game. So at
While
least
I was on my way home to
Yeah.
get prepared to be here, so I
diligence.
didn't have to pay Mark Goodhart by the hour again to write me up another bullshit letter.
Right. Because if you recall from the
excusing my
last
absence.
episode, Meech issued what some are calling
A few weeks ago, I missed an episode because I went to an afternoon Phillies game. Something happened
And?
afterwards. We're still not sure what happened, and I couldn't make the game. Today, this afternoon, I went to the Phillies game, and I left in the 7th inning to make sure I got here so I wouldn't have to hear any bullshit or come up with an excuse why I couldn't make it. And Trey Turner has his first big hit as a goddamn Philly, ties it up in the 9th inning with
Down to the last
2
strike.
outs. And then they win it in the 10th, and I listened to it on the radio on my way home. I'm here with you
are
guys.
You saying you might be the problem?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I was uprooted from
Well,
my seat at the game
listen,
to get to a podcast. But I love it, and I enjoy
Mush.
being here.
you could have easily watched the entirety of the game, strolled downtown, enjoyed happy hour, what have you. I don't know if that'd been a good thing for us. But either way, you chose to make the trip back to the Great Northeast, and that's on you. But I digress. Look, last episode, you issued what some are calling a subpar statement where you failed to
Who are
accept
these some?
responsibility
Me.
for your
Have
actions.
you checked the mentions? I mean, the complaints have been
it's
flooding in.
everyone
No
agrees.
sincerity.
He lost the poll.
Yeah,
He
was
lost
there a
the
poll?
sincerity.
Think, what was the results of the poll?
See, I think those poll people are just trying to get
What
under
did they
my
say,
skin.
Fink, about
Well, we got these
suspending
new
It
him?
was like
probably-
54% said he should
That's
be
it.
gone.
Like
Right.
most of the
Jeez.
poll was probably my children or something.
Yeah, they were defending
Yeah.
you.
No,
Anyway,
they were
look.
against
They were
me.
trying to
Hey,
kick a kid.
you went
They're
to the
trying to get
game
me in
today,
trouble.
and you made it here, and for that, we're thankful, whether you went home
yeah.
or not.
Time.
Oh,
You
yeah.
didn't get a nap.
He brought
but
us
it's
food,
okay.
too.
Maybe it would have been more entertaining if I didn't show up again. You could have talked
It would have.
about
But then
that
we would have
and-
been down you and Rock, which would have been hard.
Struggle
But we have
City.
Tom.
Me and Fink, Jesse would have been in
we
trouble.
would have been okay. We would have been absolutely okay. Okay, so the episode we called "Check Yourself," and in my
Right,
mind,
we haven't done any checking of
I want to
ourselves
check.
yet.
I want to check myself. I want to check everybody. But the idea there was that, look, like we are now at another moment where we got to look in the mirror and be like, what the hell are we dealing with here? We've had this long period of the process that doesn't appear to have changed anything.
Well, here's where I differ. We don't have to look in the mirror. They have to look in the mirror.
I hear you.
We didn't do it. They did it.
This is true, but we have to live with it. You know what I mean? And by the way, we kind of, some of us have supported this and thought, we're growing and it's working, and we got the, and now we have to face the reality that it feels almost like we're not back at square one, but we're in a very problematic position. And the way that went down was infuriating, right? I know,
Well,
Fink.
Did
you see Meech reacting to this?
Oh, I have it.
Did you see him? This guy was firing off lots of angry tweets.
We were laughing about it on the ride here.
Just let me. I don't even know what he's about to say, because sometimes in the heat of the moment, I just say shit.
Bring in Mac
But that's
McClung.
what I like. Which probably
Mac
may have
McClung.
helped us.
Yes.
And then he said, "I apologize. I'm a broken man."
But listen, I'm just firing off these tweets because I'm passionate in the moment, and I think it's funny. I like to, I don't truly mean everything I say, and it's not from the heart, but in the heat of the moment, I'm intense. I just like expressing myself. Otherwise, I'd bottle everything up and I'd be a mess inside.
I feel like you
But
mean everything you say.
I really do.
Yeah, you do.
But here's my main thing with the Sixers, which, like everyone knows, we've had 3 teams. The Phillies lost the World Series. The Eagles lost the Super Bowl, and
After being up.
then the Sixers just got ousted in the second round again.
Not comparable
After
to the
coming
other
home
two
3-2.
at all. But go
not
ahead.
comparable, but
Painful.
When I think what you see with the Phillies right now is you have to take advantage of when you're in the World Series, because right now they're like in turmoil. Their pitching sucks. They're in 3rd place or 4th in their division. They're just they're not in a good space. So last year when they were there, you have to take advantage of that. Unfortunately, they didn't, but I wasn't disappointed with them. I was proud of what they did. The Eagles, they played a great game.
Yeah.
I wasn't disappointed in them. The Sixers, it's disappointing. Like you can't watch them and see that James Harden has 0 points in the last 3 games in the 4th quarter.
Very disappointing.
And think that's okay. It's like Embiid averaged 31 points in the regular season and 23 in the playoffs. You can't take a
Biggest
step
drop
back
off from
like
any
that.
MVP. He's the only MVP to never make it to not make it to the conference finals.
It's pretty embarrassing.
It's the same shit year after year too. It's not
Right.
and it's like what's going to happen next. Like we sit there, we're like, we have to get past round 2, and they just completely get knocked out in round 2, and they don't show heart. They don't show.
They
show
came
that they
home
care.
with the 3-2 lead. We're up in the second half. A minute and a half
had the
left
best
to go.
odds to win the
and
finals
they folded, man.
after Game 5. They had the best odds to win the finals in the entire league. And like all you had to do is win one fucking game. Excuse my language. We had to win one game, and that's
At home.
At home, your next game's at home, and then you go up there. You show with Doug. What did they have? 13 points in the quarter.
You know
Jason
what it was?
Tatum
No, they
outscored
had 10.
You know what it was? It was your boy.
Jason
my
Tatum
boy?
outscored him in 2 different quarters.
It was
in
Jesse's
game
boy.
6 and 7. That's
Wait, who's my
outrageous.
boy?
Who somehow managed to have a wide open layup, miss the layup, and pick up a flagrant foul at the same time. When Harden, that was
just
game,
saw how
that was
they-
game
oh.
6,
How
where
they
Harden picked
were-
up the flagrant on a missed layup.
They were relying on PJ Tucker for offense. Like, he's your 5th option.
And inspiration.
Like,
Okay.
He was the one that kept him into it.
So look, you called him my boy because you're teeing me up for this. I don't tend to look at it as much in terms of stats, analytics, and all that. I'm more of a heart guy in terms of the emotional involvement of me with the team, and so
You don't want a team of wusses.
yeah. Well, James Harden to me has got to be one of the least emotionally relevant. I don't know if I'm phrasing this the right way. Like players that we've ever had. And here's what I mean. When guys come here, right? When we sign superstars, and this Butler was kind of similar, although I think he appreciated us because he's tough too. When guys come here, I want to believe they think it's different, right? Like I want to see from them that they feel the same way we do. Like this is a special place. It's not the same to play here as it is everywhere else. And for some players, and I'm gonna draw a stark contrast between Bryce Harper and James Harden. Now, can you compare the two? Bryce Harper got a 10-year deal, Harden, a couple years, whatever. Maybe not. But when Bryce Harper first came, clearly he either understood that it was in his best interest to act like he got it, or he really did get it, and he cared. And it was different to him, right? And James Harden, I swear to God, watching this guy
Bryce
play...
Harper mastered how to pander to the Philadelphia
But
athlete.
I do think it motivated him, and I do think he cared, and I do think he was happy to play in a legit sports town as compared to James Harden, who I believe firmly could give a shit about what name is on the front of his jersey and what city he plays for. And to me, that's where I bail.
So what you're telling me is, what you're explaining is, Bryce Harper cares. It's not about us personally. It's just no matter where he is, he's going to endear himself to that community. And James Harden isn't. It's more the passion of the player. And when you care about winning, like Bryce Harper is he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he was 16. Like, he's been a phenom forever.
Right.
So he doesn't have to do all this.
Right.
But it's in him. It's innate.
Totally.
He loves it, and he wants the moment.
But let me say this.
James Harden, maybe doesn't.
This is the difference I want to draw. And look, I'd have to go back and look at Bryce Harper interviews when he was in Washington, but I have a feeling he's not saying the same things. He's not doing the same things in Washington that he's doing in Philadelphia. You know why? Because it's a shitty sports market. And when he got to Philly, he's like, you know what? This is legit.
home.
I can play here because I'm a dog and I'm going to go out there and bust my ass. James Harden could give a crap whether he's in Brooklyn, Philly. All he cares about who he's playing with, what they're doing after the game, right?
Look at all the
And
stars he's
I'm
played
sorry, like, he's one of these guys, and I'm not a big, like, get off my lawn guy when it comes to we're the reason that you make all this money. That's not my thing. But I just want to say, like, he has been unaffected as far as I can tell.
He puts a fan in an awkward position where it's like...
He's hard to like the guy.
Right.
And he's had his moments. The game he had against the Celtics in Game 1 was unbelievable.
Unreal.
But you can't do that and then do what you do in the other games.
But he does, and he does it every year for every team he's ever played on.
Right, and he suckers you into believing that it's going to be different. He suckers you into believing that he gives a crap. And I'll say this. Here's where I'm really concerned. Joel Embiid grew up here, and he seemed to give a shit about it. He was down at the NFL draft. He went to the Super Bowl. He's with the people. But I'm seeing a real fatigue in Joel Embiid that leads me to believe he's spending too much time with the Hardens of the world and is starting to give a crap a lot less about doing it for Philly like he said he wanted to do. And he cares more about, himself and getting rings and all that. And that would be a damn shame for him to give up on what he's tried to do up to this point. So I'm just pissed off about this. Anybody got anything to say about that?
Hey, look at this view we have here.
Why are you bringing up old
with
shit?
the twilight.
You want to do a podcast
No, listen,
while it goes from light to dark.
I don't want to question people's ability to, like, their hungriness, their how much they want it, but it's apparent that James Harden just emotionally disconnects in big games, and it's tough to watch.
You talk about, like, the incorporation into the city, but
Harden, here's the thing:
you don't know anything about Harden. What do you know about Harden? Other
got
than
a-
he, like,
he's got a
strong
beard.
and what?
Busted him and little baby.
No
here's
one,
the
wears
thing.
no one knows
interesting
anything about
clothing.
him. He seems like a
Daryl
weirdo,
Morey
like, he doesn't-
is his
he
like
makes I don't get him.
is his lifelong buddy. Like, I think James Harden is Daryl Morey's muse. So if you don't think he's going to do everything in his power to sign him to the $4,200,000 max, which will in turn anger Joel Embiid
There's no way he's
and
doing
cause
that. Harden's gone. He's gone. There's no way he's
listen,
coming back.
You think so?
There's no way he's coming back.
No way.
No way.
I'll do
I
a
disagree.
gentleman's bet,
I think
a
Harden's
gentleman's
just-
City Pigeons bet right here for $5 that
$5?
James Harden gets
No, I want
signed.
to do it for
fun.
a chicken sandwich. Let me get into this one.
Oh, yeah, can you do a chicken sandwich?
Chicken, which one? Barbecue?
I want the original. Every Sunday.
James
Sorry,
Harden
sorry.
will
Fink might have
re-sign
overtaken you.
for
He's been
the
eating a lot more
max
lately.
with the Sixers. Just a friendly bet.
Friendly wager.
I don't see how you could lock yourself to him for
If he
that
had any
period of time.
dog into him, he would have multiple rings. You can't play. Look at all the studs he's played with, and he's got nothing to show for it.
I think here's Daryl. Daryl Morey's a weird dude, but he was either going to go to Doc or James Harden. What should have happened was they tossed him out of there and Harden and Doc.
All of them.
All
But
of
they
them.
didn't. They
Right.
kept him. So what's going to happen is he's going to choose Harden, which is going to ultimately cause a rift between Harden and Embiid, which will cause
We're not
Embiid
going
to
to end up with
demand a
Harden.
trade.
There's definitely no way we're going to end up
If
with
we
Harden.
end up with
after all this,
Harden
right?
and
Not only
Embiid's gone,
will
I'm
we
going to
win-
jump in the river.
for
I'm
years.
jumping. I'm going.
If you
I'm down the river.
don't bring back Harden, you're kind of like in purgatory as well. Like you can't make that many moves. You have the Tobias contract that's going to come off next season, but what are you going to do for next season?
That's what I'm saying. I think we're just totally screwed. It's bad. It's bad.
This is
Bad.
hell.
Right.
And Daryl, he's getting paid $12 million a year. What like you're the GM. Figure it the hell out. Like
Now-
this is ridiculous. We can't get past the second goddamn round.
on the subject
Sorry.
of us being screwed and
I hate
moving
'em.
forward, obviously they fired Doc Rivers. There's a coaching search going on, right? And it seems to be a bit of a circus already. I'm not going to lie. I don't know crap about half of these coaches. You know, look, Nick Nurse seems to have done a good job. And
What did you wait? What did you just say that you wanted in a player?
Did I say a dog? Yeah. I want a dog. Well, that seems like an overused phrase, but you get my point, you know. I want like a bunch of PJ Tuckers that can do more than what PJ Tucker can do. Right? Which is, by the way, I'm kind of surprised. PJ Tucker and Jimmy Butler were on the same team last year and they didn't win. That's like, you know, the ultimate dog combo.
Well, they were close. They made it to the conference championship.
Right.
PJ Tucker won with the Bucks. He made it pretty far with the Suns. I mean, PJ Tucker's one of those guys. If he's on your team, you're going to make it pretty far in the
Talking
playoffs.
about PJ Tucker, we got another tweet from Meech. It's the fourth quarter, Game 7. Joel Embiid and James Harden have the same amount of points as Tobias Harris and PJ Tucker. Like that's insanity. That's insane.
You should never read those words. Damn.
Now I'm
That
pissed off all
dude's a
over
good
again.
tweeter, man. He
He is
knows
a good
what he's
tweeter.
talking about.
Follow
Sign
at
that
Meech
dude up.
One if you're not keeping along. Okay, but on the coaching search, I know some of you guys, we've been texting, and there's some strong opinions here. So let's just head over to our buddy Tom, because I think you're going to kick this off with our coaching carousel viewpoint.
I'll say this.
Point counterpoint.
We need a winner. We need somebody that these players are going to respect, somebody that commands that respect, and there's nobody else, I
Keith
think,
Van Horn.
more qualified than Dawn Staley. We would love to have you. Please come home. All right, you can come down to South Broad Street now.
Do you think
She's been up in
Dawn
North.
is watching
She's
or
not.
listening?
She might be.
Is Dawn in the chat?
She might
Fink,
be. That's
is
why I
Dawn in
dress
the chat?
nice. Coach Staley dresses nice. I figured I better look nice if I'm going
Listen,
to talk about Coach
I
Staley.
think actually Dawn Staley is enough of a real one that if we could get in touch with her, she would probably come on the podcast. I'm serious. Let's get her on.
She is the ultimate Philly panderer. Like you
got-
talk about Bryce
Ooh.
Harper. No,
That's-
she's on the
You're saying
sidelines
she
in
panders.
Eagles gear. I mean, in a good way.
In a
It's a good
Yeah,
thing.
when you say pander, it doesn't exactly sound good, but I get your point.
No, she's on
How about saying she
the
represents?
sidelines at South Carolina wearing Eagles gear. That's
Right.
pandering to the Philadelphia marketplace, which is a great thing.
When you're in South Carolina, it's not pandering; it's representing. It's different. But anyway, I digress. Tom, so you're a proponent of
I
Dawn
am.
Staley
I
being
am.
the first
Absolutely.
female head coach in the NBA. You think Dawn Staley is going to be able to, convince Joel Embiid it's time to step up and
See, that's my thing. I don't think that, as much like you said, like the players need someone that they're going to respect. I don't think a first-year coach making a jump from WNBA into a team that's supposed to be a championship contender is
Right.
something that will work. I think the players, like, Harden has an ego. Joel has an ego.
Well, in my
And
mind,
you
Harden's
think-
not here because that's not happening.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
but-
saying? Like Harden's gone.
Harden is coming back.
No, he's not.
But I don't know if she could reel in the egos or she's the one to
well,
reel in
real
the
quick,
egos.
she could reel in the egos.
How do you know that?
But
She's
here,
never done it at
she's-
this level.
because she's a great leader and a great leader of people. But here's the thing: she gets paid so much at South Carolina, and she's so good at coaching these young girls, not just in basketball, but she's like in life. And she gets paid so well down there to where it wouldn't be worth it for not only for I wouldn't want to see her deal with these assholes on the 76ers.
Well, that's the thing. The team's a bunch of
Okay.
loser
I would
assholes.
rather-
Excuse
That's
my
why I
language
won her.
again. But I don't think they will work with her.
She doesn't. She's doing well, and she's making just as much there as she probably would in the NBA.
Okay.
She makes more than probably half of the NBA coaches.
So I want to come back to that because the same kind of theory applies a bit with Jay Wright. Like, all right, he's
same thing.
Yeah, he doesn't want to deal with it.
He doesn't want to deal with these
somebody
guys.
eventually will want to be the person in Philly enough to do that. They will. But I just
you saw what happened to like Rick Pitino, like all these legend college coaches who tried to make it in the NBA, and it just didn't work out because it's not what they're suited for.
All right.
And I think Dawn Staley recognizes that, and people who ask her to be a Sixers coach, I don't think get her feelings.
I
doubt she wants to do that.
I actually think
she's like, I'm not coming to deal with these.
No,
Right.
the fact that she's down there in South Carolina wearing an Eagles shirt.
She did interview for the Trailblazers job.
Right, yeah. I think she'd absolutely do it. And originally, my sentiment was, I
Coach,
just
come
don't
home,
know.
please, come home, Coach.
No, but listen, I was like, I don't know. Is Joel Embiid going to listen to Dawn Staley
Absolutely.
when he,
I think JoJo would.
like he would listen to
Who's he
Nick
listening to
Nurse
anyway?
or?
I think
but
he would
hold on.
listen to Dawn Staley more than I think he'd listen
Let
to
me
Doc
get,
Rivers.
I
hold on,
agree.
hold on.
I agree.
Let me give you what the light bulb just went off in my head. Part of me is like, would Joel Embiid or anyone else feel obligated to actually listen to her because there would be the assumption that he wasn't going to listen to her because she was the first female coach. And that,
No, I think
you see what I'm saying?
she's so respected.
she
It's not
commands-
even about a female
Right,
thing.
right.
She's just so respected as a basketball mind. I don't think NBA players would, but I wouldn't. It's not for her to do. If she doesn't want to do it, she's in a perfect position right now.
But do you think you can just disregard completely the fact that she'd be the first female coach? Like that's not relevant at all?
Of course it's relevant. It would be huge. But after game
To
two,
the players,
it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? After the initial...
She has to manage the team the whole year, the playoffs. I think it means a lot in terms of how they interact, in terms of how they... And to my earlier point was, I don't know if they would take her seriously because she's the first female coach and because she doesn't have the same
it's
experience.
going to happen eventually.
But, yeah, I do think they might actually be inclined to do so because they feel like obligated to give her a fair shot. So maybe.
But at the same time, I think a lot of, like, listen, I don't know her. Maybe we should have her on and ask her this shit, but I don't think she'd even want to manage
Come on in.
Come home,
coach
Coach.
an NBA
Come
team.
Come on. Well, after that,
We'll pick you up at the airport. with
does
signs.
anyone have another? So that's who
I'm be down there with
you're for. You're for Dawn.
Absolutely.
Meech, who are you? Or Fink, you're against Dawn. So where are you on this whole thing?
Currently, man, I'm on the Nick Nurse train right now.
You're nursing. You don't feel good about it?
No.
I'm on the Frank
I feel
Vogel
like
train.
Nurse could probably reel them in a little bit. He's a
Right.
good XO guy. Whatever. I don't even know.
Yeah.
This team just. This whole team just has me down. They're a bunch of.
Just wanna
losers.
forget about
Like,
it.
We need a coach that.
I'm bad at picking coach. Like, I don't
Me
know
too.
anything
I'm not a
about that
frickin'
shit.
GM.
But I do think Nick Nurse could probably find some creative ways to get Joel open in space to where Doc couldn't do it. But what the hell do I know? I mean,
Well,
We need somebody who's going to change the culture. That's what we need. I'm tired of hearing all this shit about heat culture in Miami. They don't care about
But
basketball
the thing
down
is
there.
that even if at the end of the day, Doc is probably going to be a Hall of Fame coach, and the players didn't listen. They didn't like. You could tell Harden and him had problems. Harden didn't want him back. That's another reason he might be coming back. Harden didn't want him back, and now he's gone. Tom Harden's coming back. I'm getting that chicken sandwich. But
that's what I'm saying. It's more. He got rid of him early, so James would consider coming back.
all right. Well,
We're doing here?
look, it's clear to me we're not experts in picking coaches, and we're gonna bring in Jake. Yeah, just hit that red button there. Let's see.
What's happening, man?
Can you hear that? Let's give you this mic, buddy. All right.
Hello?
So look, part of the mandate of the City Pigeons podcast is to draw attention to people in Philadelphia that are doing great things and inventing various offerings that people might be interested in. And we appreciate you hosting us here at this.
I appreciate you coming.
By the way,
Thank you, Jake.
It looks even better at night, doesn't it? Are
it's
we
my-
awkwardly close together there, Jer? Maybe a little.
Just space out.
Very good.
Just a bit.
Okay, so
Guys,
So Jake, yeah, I know. If it starts pouring rain, we're just going to cut this thing. I don't think anyone will be the worse for it. So Jake, let's talk real quick about the human robot concept originally. Right, you started in Fishtown.
We started in Fishtown.
How do you like just start a brewery? How does that happen?
Well, for us, we looked for a space, and then we got lucky that we found an existing space, so we didn't have to build an actual brewery.
So they were already brewing beer there, and you just
yeah, well, more that
It's a good way to start a business.
It was a brewery that went out of business, so they were brewing beer there and weren't for about 6 months, and then we went in.
That helps.
Yes, it saves a lot of money. Building a brewery is very expensive.
Were you like contemplating building a brewery?
We were
before that?
contemplating a brewery.
Okay.
We still own the building in Kensington.
Okay.
But
Was it win?
well,
Big time?
it's in the no, it's in the middle of the zombie apocalypse. So.
Oh, so it was right when COVID went down.
Yeah, well, it's right where they're literally
North of Lehigh?
Yes, it's north of Lehigh.
Got it.
It's between the Somerset Station and the Huntingtons.
That's where you were gonna be?
Yeah, we were gonna be pioneers, trailblazers, if you will.
Major upgrade. Yeah, because I've been to your spot. We had a watch party for an Eagles game there last
we
fall,
did.
which was fantastic.
That was very much fun.
Awesome spot. You got the good outdoor setup too, which
Yes,
is great.
we still have our pirate ship. The city hasn't taken that from us yet.
Beautiful. So when you started this, how did you decide what kind of beer you were going to brew? Because I know you got a lot of like German stuff, Czech stuff. You got the milk
Yes.
tubes. How did this all come about?
Happenstance. The brewer that we hired happened to be a world-class lager brewer, and we didn't really know that it was going to happen that way. We thought we were going to be an IPA factory.
Yeah.
Because that's what people
I don't
wanted.
do IPA.
Yeah, everyone loves IPA. And then he said, can I do some of this beer? We all tried it. I haven't had an IPA since I tried it. So,
But you
it's
do
really
make
not
some
good.
IPAs.
We do
True
make
story.
some really good IPA,
Yeah,
that's for
so
sure.
far, we've been drinking the American and German Pilsner
Pretty damn
because
good.
that's what we got out of the fridge.
All right.
Yep.
That's what you stole from the
Yeah,
fridge.
yeah.
It was-
Well, you weren't here, so
I
we
know, I
just
said
got
help
right
yourself.
in there. We got
There is
right
draft
in
All I
there.
beer.
heard Jesse was like, Jake said we can drink whatever we want. That's all I heard.
I was like, who wants to make bagels? Let's go.
Yeah.
Anyway, but here we are at which is a new tasting room.
Yeah.
Is this in a partnership with the spread?
Kind of,
beer?
we're a sublease.
Right.
Basically, they close at 3, we open at 3. Weekends, there's some crossover.
Right.
And we're going to hope for some more synergy, but we're just
Bagels and
testing it
beer.
out.
I think there could be something there.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
What
could
do
be
you think?
worse things.
Yeah.
And this porch is pretty dope.
This is a
Yeah,
great
it's a good
porch,
spot.
man.
It's a pretty dope porch.
Really cool. Really cool. When I saw it,
If
I
you're
was
into
like,
water and lights and
if you're into water,
It's pretty
lights,
cool.
urban scenery. When we were talking about you opening this, and I looked it up, and I was like, I'm definitely going to hit hip hop about doing a
I'm glad
podcast
you
on
did.
that deck.
I'm glad
And
you
then-
did. We can do this
Yeah, here
all
we
the
are.
time.
Here we are.
gonna be
Okay,
your
so
spot.
we were hoping, and by the way,
I'm going to go grab a few. All right?
yeah, go grab a few for
Yeah.
us. See what you can find in there. See if you can find any IPAs. Okay, so we were hoping you might give us some insights. And people, if you haven't been down here or you haven't been to Fishtown, Human Robot's got a bunch of cool beers. Very cool place to be. But you must know some ins and outs of the beer scene. Who's doing what? The craft beer thing exploded. What are the cool places to go? So on and so forth. You got any nuggets for us about the craft beer scene in Philly? And come on, man, you got to give us something here.
There's a lot of you. Do you all get along? Like, is it competitive?
Of
There's
course.
no way they get along.
It's more,
There's no way they get along.
I've been in this scene for a long time, and that's kind of what's always been the greatest thing is the camaraderie.
Right.
It's shocking because you would be competitors and people, fighting for that same dollar, but everyone would be hanging out, and like it was actually very communal, and it still is.
Right.
We do a lot of stuff together, a
All
lot of
right.
stuff.
Well, you're clearly not going to throw anyone under the bus,
Not on air.
which is disappointing.
Yeah, stop.
Not
Stop.
on
Stop
the
trying to get him in trouble.
I know there's some
Not on the
shitty
record.
breweries,
We
and
got
I just wanted to
businesses
hear
go back
about
to
it.
tomorrow morning.
Okay, but let's do this then. I will flip it because you guys are all about kumbaya, whatever. Why don't you tell people?
You're wearing a Love Wins shirt, and you're
Love
telling us
wins. Mark Goodhart, baby. Love doesn't always win. He can tell you that if he's telling
There
the
he
truth.
is.
Okay, but here's my question. Let's go the other route. Let's talk about some recommendations. You must be super tapped into a lot of the
Yes.
like up and coming
Yes, so I would say
breweries, craft beers.
First is Carbon Copy. which is
Carbon
in
copy.
West Philly in the old Dock Street
Okay.
location.
By the way, I'm taking notes because these are the places that we're going to go next on our magic tour
They
of
are,
podcast beer establishments.
2 world-class
Meech, can you
brewers.
control your pad? Ray Dinger, it's out of control. It's making noises.
Diddy, come on.
Come on. Okay, Carbon Copy. Where's that
Carbon
again?
Copy is in West Philly. I think it's 50th and Baltimore. It's the old Dock Street.
In West Philadelphia, born and
Yes,
raised? I got
would,
it.
I would say that's a,
Oh,
a
the
high
old
recommendation.
Dock Street.
Yeah, the
Okay.
original.
The original. The
Dock
OJ.
Street.
Beautiful.
I'm going to say Fermentary Form, which is near us, which is currently closed. It's in a speakeasy form.
It's private?
Yes.
Prohibition?
It's a private
Is
club.
Prohibition hitting?
It's a private club.
Damn it. What's it called?
Um,
Fermentation?
Fermentary Form.
Fermentary form.
All sour
Okay.
beer. Do you like sour beer?
You know what's funny, man?
I do.
You like sour
Oh, I
beer?
love 'em.
You love it.
Love it.
I've heard a lot of talk about the sour beer recently, and I have not had a lot of sour beer. I assume it's
It's
what
an acquired taste.
Right. Yeah, I don't think so. Like, I'd imagine that rips you up a little, you know?
It does.
Yeah.
The guts. You should imagine.
Yeah,
You can
'cause-
only imagine what it does to the
Yeah,
guts.
yeah. I don't want to get into that because, listen, I got into the IPAs, and then that was problematic.
That's
'cause
why I'm back in the lager.
I tend to be able to, like, I keep going when I don't usually stop at 1 or 2, and so when you have 3 or 4 IPAs, it's a bad thing. And I can only imagine what sour beer is like. Jeez.
Exactly.
I don't know about
Tear
that.
you up.
Delicious.
All right, what else? Anything else that we need to look out for?
I mean, Sacred Vice is one that's opening soon.
That sounds cool. Meech, Sacred Vice. You down with that? I feel like I'm going to get
Yeah,
a
whatever,
Sacred Vice
man.
tattoo.
They had a
Pretty
little
sweet.
spot in Port Richmond, and they're going to be opening at Front and Burke's right near us, actually.
it.
So, like you said, like a competition, like they're literally
Yeah,
4 blocks
but
away.
you love it.
All love.
If it's good beer, you're down, right?
Well,
you
of course.
respect
It's gotta
it.
be good looking.
If it's crap beer, you're
Gotta
like,
be.
man.
It's gotta, exactly.
Meech, let me ask this question, man, because you strike me as a pretty standard guy. Do you dabble at all in the
No, I
He doesn't.
don't. I'm not a dabbler.
He's not a dabbler.
I'm a very faithful. I get one brand and that's
What
it.
brand is it?
Silver
Kenwood.
Bullet?
I'm a
Kenny?
Kenwood guy.
Alright.
Kenny, they've been a big supporter of the program.
I've
We
been-
love the
I
Kenny.
I've been,
appreciate that.
When I was in high school, I was a Heineken guy, and nobody drank. It was all Natty Light and Milwaukee's Best. But I would get like a 6-pack of Heineken, like a friggin' weirdo. And then that got too
Slowly.
heavy, so I switched to Miller Lite. And then in the past few years, I switched to Kenwood.
Well, it's good that, like, you can get a light beer like that. We make a light beer like that called Tin Hoagie. Which,
Tin Hoagie?
This is
Love it.
great.
Right.
You like that?
This is great.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's a
no,
Pilsner,
this is like
so.
still like even much
I-
more flavor. Like Tin Hoagie is just like Coors Light. Like, it's just
I'm the
like,
furthest from a beer snob. Like if I'm at a place and you got a beer,
No,
hand it to me
Kenny's
and I'll
good
drink
beer
it.
Crush. Like
Yeah.
I love owning Kenny. Like and those guys are great.
And they've been coming out, supporting us. So
Yeah, no,
I think the
absolutely.
reality is we love most
No.
beers,
And when you ask me that question, I'm
I was
thinking
gonna say I don't recall you being picky about who's gonna.
Nah, we're just trying to find new cool spots to go to.
You
But
just wanted me to talk shit.
yeah, I was hoping you
Hey, he was
guys.
trying to set you up there. That's not cool.
I don't have
Trying
the
to set 'em up.
I don't have the taste recognition to have 10 different kinds of go. I like the flavor and like I'm just not that kind of dude. You know what
No,
I mean?
Did you do it with a burger?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cheesesteak?
Like I'm not. Listen,
Simple pleasures.
I have faith. I'm very loyal. Like I go to a restaurant, I order the same goddamn thing every time I go. I don't venture
fair, I
out.
do
The
that.
bird is in the sky. The bird is in the sky.
I'm very loyal. Like I find something I like and I just stick with it. I don't
It's fair.
venture. But if I do, am forced to have something, I love it. You know.
Do you think the brewery explosion is gonna is it like a bubble that's gonna burst? Because it seems like a new one pops up every day. Is this sustainable?
On one hand, I could say yes. I mean, we're now at 9,000 breweries in the U.S., I want to say. And
I would have said more.
Yeah, right.
What do I know?
It feels like a lot.
But the reality is if your place says brewery on a Saturday, it's going to be packed. It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter what the beer tastes like or what's going on. If it says brewery, people show up on the weekend. So if you're small and I think it can last. It just depends on the size and what is happening.
As it becomes so commonplace, I think these niche spots that have a really good marketing, look at these cans. These are beautiful.
Jimmy's a wonderful designer.
Is that your designer,
Jimmy
Jimmy?
Scantron.
All right.
He's a real Philadelphia G.
All right. We love it. Looks
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, he's
I
a
think
good guy.
my point is you can build just like the City Pigeons podcast, you can build community around human robot
Absolutely.
and your
that's what we're
businesses.
about.
That's what you're about. And
No, absolutely.
the fact that you just so willingly brought us here is amazing. And
Welcome anytime.
thank you. We may make it recurring.
We are not leaving.
And there is a point, by the way, where it's not free anymore. You start paying, but we're not there.
start paying.
Yeah, you start paying us. We don't just come suck down all your free beer and your beautiful
Little,
No, but seriously, man, thank you
City
for having
Pigeons-
us.
Absolutely.
City
Thank you
Pigeons
guys for
Pilsner
coming.
City
can would
Pigeons
look nice.
Now,
now we're
hey, the
I
first
dig.
brewery that gets down with that, we can do some good
What
stuff.
about
man.
NA
Nice meeting
beers?
you.
That's what everybody's
Thanks for
always
inviting
asking
us.
me.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Tom,
Do you have any NA beers?
Do you have any
'Cause
non-alcoholic
I
beers?
think that's is that the equivalent of you people asking us if we can do
To
gluten free.
do that would require
Exactly.
$500,000
Right.
machine, which I'm into, but I don't
Really?
have $500,000.
Right.
Damn, that's a shame.
I'll lend it to you, dude.
Yeah, I think
We'll talk after the show.
you know, talk to some of them.
I got you,
Meech
I
and
got
Fink
you.
can drink the alcohol
Yeah.
out of it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we'll
Thanks
we'll
for
suck
having
the
me.
alcohol.
Thanks for having us. And I know everybody. I see some people. Our
That's a
families are
great
starting to
idea.
head out.
There you go.
Everybody's got the
Done.
kids. You got to
See
get
ya.
home, but the kids to
See
bed.
ya, yeah.
So listen,
They're
we're
like, we
gonna
had enough of this.
We're gonna wrap it
episode.
up,
Our
guys.
own family's leaving.
Here's my hope.
He
Right,
left me.
the Phils somehow pulled that one out today. And I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, that is some sort of sign
Ride it.
that our luck is going to change.
Ride it.
I mean,
That's-
I had to
You know,
juice Turner up.
we ran out of time, but I had a rant against Bark in the Park, which happened the other night. Wait until
No,
next
no, no,
episode. Don't let me forget it because it's good. It's a well.
No, we're not out of time. We'll do it right now. We'll do
Don't
it right
tease
now.
him.
We can
Don't
do whatever
tease
we
him,
want.
Meech.
Because I will say this. Meech was not at the game last night, but Tom, you were there,
I was
right?
there, yes.
Okay, and he out of nowhere
Leo's birthday,
sends me a
9-year-old.
text,
Shout out,
or
buddy.
sends our group a text about how much he hates Bark in the Park. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is the guy who said the wave doesn't really bother him, and he's coming out hard
I can't
against Bark
believe
at the
you're
Park.
talking about the wave versus a bunch of rabid dogs.
Rabid?
in a
You're painting
stadium.
with a broad brush, buddy.
All right. Well, listen. Here's I'll do
There
it.
wasn't a ton.
Go ahead and
run
attack
through-
man's
I'll
best
run
friend.
through
See
it
how that
as
goes
quick
for
as-
you.
I'm not. Listen, I'm less against dogs in this rant as I am against dog owners, because a lot of dog owners don't understand that people don't
like
want their
parents and
smelly
kids.
dog
Right.
around them, especially at a baseball game. Now, aside from my inconvenience to where I wouldn't want your smelly dog around me. Dogs hate fireworks. They hate when another
Right.
dog is across the street. Can you imagine if there's 1,000 other dogs in the same stadium and everybody is cheering and shit's
Okay,
a bell's
but can I
ringing?
pause? Tom, can you?
It's
hold on,
causing
hold on.
anxiety on these
You weren't-
dogs.
Okay, you weren't even there to experience this. Tom, can you speak to what level of anxiety you saw amongst the dogs in reaction to the goings-on at Citizens Bank Park? Can you attest?
To what Meech is talking about, there was not as many as you would have thought. There was not
Not a lot of
there
dogs.
So
wasn't
what
a
are
lot
these?
of dogs.
Are
To the
these all
point where I-
service dogs that people bring?
Well,
are these all
you
the
had to buy that
common fucking
ticket.
dogs?
Yeah,
Because
you
I
had-
walk around in my neighborhood and these dogs are barking if you walk near them. Like,
Right. I texted
That's
our one
deep
coworker. I
Northeast
said, "Are you
Philly
guys here
dogs."
tonight with your dog? Because they're
I
big
guess
dog people. I thought they'd be here."
Okay, so-
but that's what they said. They said, "No way. The fireworks.
Did you
we
even
can't.
think-
It's too much?"
So, who's cleaning up after the? Is it the job of the Citizens
hand
Bank
out bags?
workers?
Do they take dumps?
Are you supposed to bring your dog to a like you can't even smoke in Citizens Bank Park now they're
You
going to have
can't?
a little shit area for your dog?
Raises a good point.
These are great points. And then like
People still smoke.
great point.
People still smoke.
if I was a worker at Citizens Bank Park and they said, "Yo, tonight's Bark in the Park," I'd be like, yeah, I just came down. I got COVID. I ain't
Yeah.
going to come in tonight. All right? See ya."
Still make that?
But here's the question I have. If your dog, there's people who bring their dog and they're like, yeah, Sparky's not great with other dogs, but I think it'll be fine. Like
You
when
know
he
those
comes
people
in,
go there.
do they get kicked out? Can you get kicked out for your dog's behavior? I think you must be able to. If your dog is
There's
in there
gotta be
biting other
dog
dogs, like,
fights.
you're
There's
out.
gotta
You
be,
and your
like,
dog.
How many-
barking back and
I wanna
forth.
know this.
It's just
I'm gonna find
natural
this out.
between
You were
dogs.
there.
I was there, and there was not.
He didn't see any of this.
It was hardly any dogs.
Did the dogs know it was the bottom of the fourth inning? Did they know who was up
Yeah,
to bat?
they stood at
Were the dogs
they stood-
following the baseball
They covered
game?
their ears when B Doc was singing.
Right, yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
They were marking down their
Love you, Warrior
scoreboards when it was a walk. They were marking BB in their little scorebooks.
Let me
their
ask you a
doggy
question.
Scorebooks.
How many children's eyes did you look in that were glowing as a result of the dogs and the camaraderie of the dogs.
You could have did that the same shit at a dog park in your neighborhood. You didn't have to
Right down here. Right down here.
drag
Go
this
down there and take a
poor
right.
dog down to Citizens Bank Park, park in the park. Like it's torture for this
Okay.
goddamn dog.
It is.
Here's the
it
thing.
is, honestly.
Can we commit right now?
I'm commiserating with the dog, not the. I don't give a shit about the owners.
He's commiserating with the dogs. Taking the dogs to bark in the park is an injustice
Torture.
to the dogs. Okay, next year, if they have bark at the park again, we're going. We
Who's
are
we?
going. You're going
With who?
with me. Jesus time.
We bringing a dog?
And a dog. Yes,
Yeah, we're bringing a dog.
100%.
We're bringing a dog, and you're gonna just.
I want
You're
to
gonna
bring
walk
one of
the
those
dog. You're
dogs
holding the dog
that
in a leash.
slobber all over everybody.
you know what you should
Like
do?
that's just like what was
Listen.
that
Saint
movie
Bernard,
with
Beethoven,
Charles Grodin?
Beethoven.
Yeah,
With the
Beethoven.
dog,
Hold up, I got the best idea.
Turner and Hooch, that kind of fucking
listen
dog.
Up, listen up. And we're gonna end with this because I feel like we've gone, to a whole new place. But Meech, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna get a puppet and you're gonna do comic the Triumph dog, and we're gonna do bits where you do Triumph. And you're like, oh, you look pretty good. I think I'm going to latch onto the back of you, sister. You know what I mean? That's what you're gonna do. I do a great Triumph, by the way, so I might have
That
to be
was
the
a pretty good
That
show.
was
Yeah,
good.
I'm-
That was good.
It's funny. You want to hear a story? No, you don't. But I don't care.
No, I don't.
I do
We're
this.
done with stories.
No, real quick. I do this
Try it
thing
in
for
for
my
10
kids
minutes.
at night where it's called animal theater, and it's like puppet show.
From
So
me
I
to
make
all.
their listen.
Yeah.
I make their stuffsies come to life. No matter what I do, I try to do different accents. I always end up at Triumph. I end up at Triumph. I'm like, oh
Stick
hey,
with
how
what
you
you're good
doing?
at.
It's nice to see you. I can't get away from it, and I think that's a great thing. Thank you, Conan. And on
No,
that
thank
note,
you, Robert Schmeigel. Yeah.
fair enough. You know, in the year 2000, Meech. In the year 2000.
Yep.
All right. On that note, folks, we've had fun. I hope
Good
you
night.
did too.
Everyone's tuned out like
Yes.
17 minutes
Hey,
ago.
but seriously, go check out the.
Once I started my dog
Hey,
rant.
go check out the City Pigeons 2022-2023 trailer to see the highlights from all of the episodes. Please like, subscribe, comment, review. So I don't know what else there is, but just
Watch
whatever you
the
can
last
do.
episode of Barry on Max.
Oh my God, this
Here
guy
we
and
go.
Barry.
Here we go.
He loves Barry.
Hey,
You got to
call
get
it
in there.
Max.
All right. Thank you
switched it
guys.
up.
Catch you next time.
See ya.
Love you.
Adios.